Yo, I seen some shit today, y'all, that kind of blew my mind. Check this out.
Let's turn now to our top story here tonight. Two attorneys are in the hospital after getting shot outside the Wake County Courthouse in downtown Raleigh.
There's a lot of moving pieces unfolding in this investigation. So first, let's start with what we know at this hour. Raleigh police say this woman, 57-year-old Gwendolyn White, was taken into custody. You can see her being escorted by police in that video there on your screen. They say it was over a civil court case that had just played out. And after court, White went to her car, got a gun, approached the attorneys in an alleyway and started shooting. Moments ago, we learned the victims have been identified in court documents and as seen on their firm's website as Mary Harris and Jeffrey Whitley.
We have live team coverage for you tonight. Elena Athens has been on the scene there as the investigation has been.
Now you see that? You see what that is? That's somebody taking the law into their own hands. Why? Because obviously they walked in that courtroom after doing what these people told them to do over and over and over and got played with. Somebody played in her face. She went outside to her car, got a gun, and came back and popped their ass. She probably gonna pop everybody in there. They probably got her before she can get everybody. You know, she ain't no fucking weapon specialist, you know. But they gonna pick the right one to play with. And people are gonna start deciding that the law is not designed to actually figure out problems and bring justice. The law is designed to see who face they could play in while they make money. This shit is all predicated on money. And while we dealing with real shit like deaths or, assaults or, infringements upon our property and shit like that, these people are playing a money game trying to see how much money they can make off of our energy into this specific cause or reason. Mind you, if it wasn't no court systems or nothing like that, none of this should be going down like this. Y'all seem to think it'd be more wild if we didn't have people policing us in, but it really wouldn't. It would be more civil because people will have a higher level of respect for people based on the fact that they know what's going to happen if they violate. Now, of course, you're going to have rogue people, and you always going to have that. That's been going on since the beginning of time. That doesn't mean that the system we have in place is effectively stopping it. It's actually predicating it. We all know that they knocked down the Twin Towers. We all know that they released the viruses on us and made everybody go get shots. We all know these things, and we still listen to them, because it's convenient or because it's scary to think about the other side of what you might have to do if this system, not if, but when this system fails. All systems fail. I keep telling y'all, entropy is the natural course of things for them to dissolve and grow old or die or wither or break. In order for things to work for a long time, you have to maintain them. So they have been maintaining this system in place, not trying to change it or even look for things that would make things better. I always put an idea out there about the street sweeper cleaner service and shit. How they got the cars moving. Now they got the new thing where they're going to put the camera on there. That's cool, but what about putting that money into the neighborhood block associations, of which every block damn near in New York has one? And if your block don't have one, your building got one, your projects got one. What about putting the money into there, that $164 million that we use to pay ticket agents, 4,000 of them, to harass us around the city? How about we use that to help out some of the people that's homeless and going to be on the streets anyway? Because I know if I went outside right now and I pulled out two shiny $10 bills, this whole block would get cleaned. One nigga take one side and the other nigga take one side. The way they calculating it, I'll be done with this in an hour. If I beg for this, it's going to take way longer than that. You know what I mean? Unless I get lucky. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm saying it in a logical way. Like, and not only that, the block will stay clean because they're not going to fucking up the shit that they have to clean up. You know what I mean? And I know it's going to be one or two that cause some disturbance in order to come and be like, can I clean this up? Yeah, you're going to have a little bit of shit, but it's going to be way less than the amount of money we as taxpayers spend on the street sweeper coming through and blowing dust and fucking particles in our fucking systems and shit. That shit don't clean. That shit don't do nothing. We spend way too much money doing nothing. And this is the point. People getting sick of the system and the way it operates. And that's the point. It's bleeding us dry. And I don't propose that everybody just grab a fucking weapon and go outside and be nuts about it. But there should be a fine line in the sand where these people know we can't do this with them. Otherwise, if y'all letting them do this, y'all might as well let them bring back the whips and chains and chud the building and all that shit and let them really get busy, because that's kind of what you're doing by remaining silent. You're agreeing. Silence is an agreement in America. So when they say they're going to do this and you remain silent or you act like you can't do nothing because you're not going to get up off your lazy ass to go attend no council meeting or to voice your opinion or to stand out where somebody who has organized it, who has took the time out to do something, you're not going to go help, then you know what the problem is. It's people like you. Because we actually have to represent ourselves. If somebody's pushing us to fight and we looking like we don't want to fight, the rest of the world like, niggas don't want to fight. Nobody's going to be inclined to help. We going to continue to suffer. But look at this. Black lady. She probably was a regular professional, had her own shit going, and she just had enough.
Folding all day, but we begin with John Dowding. John, you're learning some new details about those two attorneys who are now hospitalized. What are you learning?
Well, Steve, Lauren, that investigation is continuing here, but right now the alley where all of that chaos broke out earlier today in the heart of downtown Raleigh is back open, and it's coming as the I-team is learning key details about what brought the alleged shooter and those victims to court earlier today. The I-team discovering new details about the woman police say shot two attorneys outside a Wake County courthouse. Eyewitness News obtaining this video showing Raleigh police taking the woman they believe is the shooter into custody. Police identified the suspect as Gwendolyn White and say she's facing attempted murder charges. Court documents identify the victims as Mary Harris and Jeffrey Whitley, seen in bios posted on their law firm's website. The I-team learning White attended a hearing Gwendolyn White and say she's facing attempted murder charges. Court documents identify the victims as Mary Harris and Jeffrey Whitley, seen in bios posted on their law firm's website. The I-team learning White attended a hearing at the Wake County Courthouse Friday morning. The case involving a years-long civil claim she brought against the Rolesville Police Department in 2022. White sued the department for body camera video of an incident she says happened in her home. A judge dismissed the case in January 2026. A judge held a hearing at 10 this morning to determine whether to reinstate the case. Raleigh police say White became, quote, belligerent in the courtroom and left the courthouse just before the shooting. The town.
Whenever they say you became belligerent, that means you was right and they wasn't trying to agree. Whenever they say you was belligerent, that word specifically, that means she's right, but she's not going about it the right way. Which is, I hate to say it, but, these people way of saying, we don't care. You know what I mean? How can I be right and why I'm upset and you're not willing to fix it so that my anger dissipates? You trying to enrage me.
Rolesville confirmed the victims represented the town in this civil matter and belonged to the Fox Rothschild law firm. This isn't the only case White has on file. The I-team finding more than a dozen civil actions she filed since 2022, according to the North Carolina courts database. Now, we did reach out to the town of Rolesville for a comment about that civil case that brought all of these parties involved to the courthouse earlier today. We're still waiting for a response back from the town, and we are also working to learn more details about the condition of those two attorneys who are in the hospital tonight. Live here in downtown Raleigh, I'm John Dowding, ABC 11, Eyewitness News.
You'll be working the story through the evening and have more tonight at 11. We'll see you then, John. Thanks.
And the two attorneys who were shot outside the Wake County Courthouse were in the same courtroom as that suspect. The room was on the 10th floor. Elena Athens continues our team coverage. Elena, we still don't know how those attorneys are doing tonight.
Yeah, we're still working, Lauren, to figure out how they're doing or the extent of their injuries. I did speak with some folks who were inside this courtroom for their own proceedings when the shooting happened.
I got a message from one of my friends asking were we okay.
Securia Stedman was in the middle of a divorce proceeding, then started hearing commotion. There was a shooting just outside of the building. Two attorneys were shot, and this video shows deputies taking the suspected shooter into custody.
This is very wild. Especially with it happening while we were in family court.
Police have identified the suspect as 57-year-old Gwendolyn White.
To be here when something like this happens, it's kind of unsettling.
Police say White was in court this morning with the attorneys on a civil matter.
The suspect in this case became belligerent.
Police say she left the courtroom on her own, only to go to her vehicle and allegedly grab a handgun from her car. Tonight, we watch as investigators began combing through a white Lexus sedan on Fayetteville Street.
The suspect got out of the vehicle, approached the two victims, shot both victims, and that's when the deputies and the officers were able to take that suspect in custody.
Why she shot him?
So the Wake County Courthouse and the Wake County Justice Center were both put on lockdown earlier today. However, the Wake County District Attorney did make the decision to suspend all proceedings midday. Live in Raleigh, Elaine Athens, ABC 11 Eyewitness News. All right.
See? Nobody want to talk about why. Y'all better go tap in and watch my old videos too. All my videos, y'all better tap in. You know what I mean?
That's
because
how you know it's
70% of people that's not subscribed is watching my videos. Only 20% of people that subscribe. I ain't got a lot of subscribers. Everybody should be at least catching one or two. And I ain't up here talking no bullshit. I be putting niggas on the game, you know, inspiring motherfuckers to stay vigilant. You're not gonna get that inspiration nowhere else. The only encouragement you're gonna get is to keep this shit going. You're not gonna get the type of real shit that you need to hear nowhere else, because I'll be having to tell myself this shit. That's how this shit really started. It started with me saying, you know, I'm tired of talking to myself out loud. Why not, you know, put this shit in the universe and available so that, you know, the frequencies that's riding the wave, the correct wave, could also connect. You know what I mean? That's all it's about. So y'all better stop being so weird about tapping in. And I'm not really asking for comments and, you know, likes and shit like that, but just at least listen. At least listen. I don't care about none of that other shit. Remember, this ain't about bread. The bread gonna come when the world get right. When the world get right, everybody gonna have what they want anyway. Because if I know how to make a Tesla and you my mans, I'm just gonna make you one. Fuck am I charging you for? The only reason I would need money is if we was operating in these people's system. If we operating in our own system, then whatever I need, somebody gonna give me too. You know what I mean? Because I know how to make Teslas. So, you know, we gonna barter that shit. We gonna trade that shit on out. Everybody gonna be good. If I ain't got something, somebody gonna give it to me. Because for me not to have something means I gotta figure out a way to get it, which means I could put some type of energy into the world which nobody wants. So it's the same thing as when we was in prison. Y'all think people in prison is the worst people, but guess what? If somebody's starving on the fucking tier or the dorm or wherever we at, we will actually chip in and make sure that person eat. If the police walk by and don't feed you, we will chip in and make sure you eat. Even your enemies, people that don't like you. You got to be like a rapo or like a OD rat. Because I've been in places where even a rat get a little love. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, I wasn't participating, but because in jail, that's like, I put that on a high level. In the streets, it's on a high level, but I could avoid you. In prison, for you to be next to somebody just ratting, it's crazy. You know what I mean? You already in jail. So I wasn't participating, but you have places where they live. You know what I mean? But my point is, we would take care of you and make sure that you okay. Because even when I used to get the bag, which is what we call drugs in prison, I'll come back off the visit and make sure everybody got smacked. And make sure everybody had a little something. I'm hitting all the leadership off so they can go take care of who deserve it in their unit. You know what I mean? And not on no sucker shit. We doing that because they do it too. And it's just a community vibe. Why we always got to explain our decency and make it look like it's a weakness when it's really just a strength. If I could make some shit and give it to you and I don't need nothing back, that's true strength. Me needing something back is showing you that I don't have it all. You know what I mean? I want to be able to show true strength, show my talents, and be able to bless the world with it without needing something back, because everything I need is already provided by others who got what I need. You know what I mean? It's just mutual benefit. There's many places operating like this. The people that oppress us actually operate like this. It's crazy as hell. And we really just be sitting back doing bullshit, man. It'd be crazy how I'm trying not to teach my son to not to, like, how to know he's black and what's going on without him being like thinking I'm on some racist shit. Cause he be looking at me sometimes like, why you say that? Yesterday he was swinging some white kids on the thing, and the big kid, white kid, started swinging it with all the white kids on it, and he holding on to the edge, and I'm calling him, come here, let go of the edge, because if the kid's not trying to hurt you, but he's having fun too. If he swings it, you're not strong enough. He don't have the sense in his mind to realize he's not strong enough to. My son is like crazy in the sense of like there's nothing he can't do. He's still in that phase. I don't know when he coming out of it or when he going to normalize a little bit and be like, all right, I can't fly personally, because he's on some shit. My son don't think nothing can stop him, and I admire it, but I need him to also understand where he's at and what's really going on, because don't nobody care like I care. You know what I mean? And I be trying to teach him, like, these kids came to the park to play amongst themselves. That's the only time they come here. You don't see nobody else like us playing with them. Just find somewhere to play. If somebody comes to play with you, then cool. But don't be the last one to realize some funny shit is going on, because then I get involved and it's pure aggression because my life has been different than yours, you know what I mean? And it's a weird space to be in because I know a lot of white people that's decent, and I fuck with a lot of white people, and I don't think this shit we going through as a people, humans, has nothing to do with color. I just think that they've tricked a lot of people of that shade to believe so. So the same way we under the ignorance indoctrination, they have reason to believe they better indoctrination based on the fact of, So it's not like white people are innately bad. That's never what I'm saying. My nieces and nephews is half white. It's a genetic defect. We know everything comes from black. Black is the dominant color of everything, of the universe. So whatever else is here came from it anyway. So, you can't think like that. I'm definitely not racist. I'm just aware that racism exists, and I'm never going to be the last person in a room to realize that it's there. Nah, I'm trying to be the first. Nah, I mean, even with the TV shit, I'm constantly checking on him on YouTube. What you watching? What's this? Even on YouTube Kids, because it's crazy how he know technology. He could access the mics and the cameras on Roblox, and it's just too much. And it's just too much perverse shit or dumb shit out there. And I'll be telling them, stop listening to, just learn the voice. As soon as you hear the voice come on with the music, you already know they about to tell you some dumb shit. Turn. Hey, you want to be stupid? Let me show you how. This makes no sense, but let's do it anyway. They make it sound so fun. And I always got to stop him because he's young. And they use frequencies that grab their attention. It's sick people, man. It's sick people. And I'm wondering when my people going to get better enough to start demanding some more better shit. You know what I mean? I don't have all the answers about how to do shit, but I do wake up realizing, like, we need to do something. Like, goddamn, we need to stop buying this. We need to stop wanting so much shit and become minimalist. And in that sense, we'll be able to avoid a lot of the madness anyway. Every fucking pink ice cream cones you don't need to fucking eat because it looks nice. Walk by that shit. Start recognizing that shit as the devil and just walk by that shit. God damn, I just looked. My mom's got a white Jesus sitting up here by her kitchen. And I know she just probably bought it because it looked nice, but what the heck? We just got to be more Millie. A whole white Jesus. God damn. I just can't imagine that they would have a black one in their home. That's what I'm saying. Like, they will go above and beyond to avoid that. So just because out of convenience, we supplicate a lot of shit. It's crazy. We'll just do shit. And that's a form of consent. Even if God's just sitting there watching, he'll be like, well, I guess that's what they want. Because we really consent to a lot of shit. And we really we really participate in a lot of shit that we not supposed to. And as we go into this Memorial Day, I hope that y'all look up what it's really about. And if you spend time with your family, let it just be that. Don't be out here involving yourself in rituals and violating your ancestors and shit and celebrating shit when you don't understand what it's about.